don't have any. I still gotta organize this. Let's see. And I have about... What time do I need to leave? I have about an hour. I can be on in about an hour today. Let's see. What do we want to talk about? I know, Not that. Recap. Oh, yeah. I was talking about how I'd send out a recap. New, don't save. I didn't even think about doing it that way. Brush. And why is this? Nico, how are you? I did this yesterday. Where I did. There we are. But I do not have the green screen on, so it really doesn't matter. How have you been, Nico? I don't think did I see you yesterday? Yeah, I think you were talking about getting something working on Linux, I think. So I hope that's going well, because I was trying to think of some more stories to talk about. I remember there was a discussion that was super weird about this deferral program. And so what it was, Kratos, how are you? So as I was leaving, I don't think it's proprietary. I'm trying to think. Could it be proprietary? No, because if a vendor... It just talked about... I couldn't talk about the org chart. Yeah, we'll talk about it, because I bet it's... So working at what's called home office. What are we doing today? I don't know. I'm doing all right. Not really sure what exactly we're going to get into today. I only have about an hour. Just kind of... Is there anything you want to go over, Kratos? Is there anything you're trying to fix or get to work? Was talking about how the Linux terminal is actually an interpreter and it runs... Now, see, I guess I've kind of always thought about that. Is it actually... Is it a prompt, or because when you pull up, is it actually an interpreter, or is the interpreter being run through the prompt? Because I guess when you call up, I don't even know if I have. No, I do not have Python installed here, or do I? Command line. Let's yeah. So then it dumps right into... So is it like this, or is it actually from the command line? What do you want to talk about AI? Kratos. To run shell script files. So, okay, I guess I didn't think that was anything abnormal. But Kratos, what do you want to talk about AI? You want to talk about it because you're interested, or you want to talk about it because everybody else is talking about it? Because I read a story a while back, and basically the companies that didn't perform well in the previous quarter didn't use the word AI at all in so AI is useful. AI is a big deal. There's been a lot of breakthrough with AI, but it's just, somebody pointed out, I met someone a couple months ago, and they were talking about a bit of both. So, all right. So how much? Oh, but they were talking about, they were using the comparison of AI that it's, Let's just do exit. Exit. There we are. So not that, this. So the catch thing, the big thing, last decade in technology was nanotech. So I guess, and I kind of tend to believe that because as humans we are drawn to the next Venki. Good day. The next biggest thing, and in the U.S., the media has a very short-term memory because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of I need eyeballs, and whatever the newest thing is, we want to talk about it, so we get eyeballs, so we can get advertising money. And I don't want to sound like I'm a conspiracy theory person, but it's root cause analysis. What are you really trying to do? So the ones who are very, very successful have more depth to what they want to talk about. There's so many shells in Linux like Bash. It's commonly used, and there's Z shell. See, I don't know any of this. I've looked at Linux. I think my son and I tried to get Linux on because you have more control over Linux, right? Nico, what did you send me? There's something. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, let me go back over here. So, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. All right, so I guess Kratos, what do you want to do with AI? Let's talk about that. And I mean, have you been training a model? Have you built a model? And so how far, because AI, there's like 52 steps to get to AI, right? So I don't know if Kratos is still here. But, I mean, you have to, create a model that is working first, and then large amounts of data. So I guess that was one thing that I was shocked about Reddit, that one of their main sources of income, I want to know whether it would still be worthy to learn Python after AI. Well, all right. Trying to think of a good analogy. So we've invented all sorts of machines and welders and things like this, and cars still need repaired, right? So, I mean, there's always getting the information to, and it's actually becoming more and more jobs. So I guess let's break this open. You'll still need like an AI tech, basically. So even if and I've seen this in multiple generations, was reading about whaling, and the whaling industry just vanished the turn of the last century. 1870s to between 1870 and 1890, if I recall correctly. Whaling industry just evaporated because kerosene came into place. So these things are evolving constantly. So if you're ever concerned about the future, and I don't like the thing, you got to know the history so you don't doom to repeat it. That's a lazy statement. To put things in perspective, you have to understand history, because most of LeetCode's problems are solved by AI, right? But you're still going to have to interact with a person, and highly possible. But I guess I assume that, and there's still, things are always constantly evolving, and everybody was like, we're not going to have to do anything. I mean, even if you go back and look, I'd pull up an old Jetsons cartoon that was done in the 50s and 60s, I believe, and it had flying cars. I don't know what year that was set in. That would actually be something interesting to look at. And I remember as a kid, I was a weird kid. Well, it's still a weird guy, but a weird kid. And I was looking at George would come home and he would complain that he had to turn the computer on and off, and he had a button and he'd press it. It was a little button on a panel, and he had to press it on and off. He had to turn the computer on and off all day. He came home and complained about it. Chatbots are great statistical tools. Find the most words. Similarly, how the horse and the carriage industry vanished, but soon the auto industry got. One guy on YouTube said that you don't need to learn Python. If you just understand the code, that's enough. What do you think? Well, I guess don't. Data feeds AI, learn data. Hey, Dax, how are you? I guess my question is, why do you learning a skill? And I guess I haven't done this well enough to explain. Programming is nothing more than problem solving. If you're a problem solver, people want to have you around. So don't think about I'm learning to program. I'm solving problems in Python, and programming is the tool in which I'm doing it. So to give you an idea, I have a friend who went to university and got a degree because that was the degree at the time, and now they're in logistics working at Walmart. That degree doesn't exist anymore, but it was the building blocks of what we now look at logistics now, bringing in stuff, but it was the technology and it was the systems and it was the rationale at the time, but the tools that you were taught of, I mean, the term just-in-time delivery never existed, 5 decades ago? We would just have a whole bunch of inventory. We didn't know what we were going to do with it, but you learned and you learned and you learned. So don't think of programming as, and all those individuals who make those YouTube videos on, you're not going to need to learn Python. Well, because you watched it. But do they care about, did they teach you anything? Or did they get you worried about something? So let's see. Big data. I can't make bricks without clay. One of my favorite. Yeah, exactly. I mean, a human interaction. And I saw a meme on LinkedIn a few weeks ago of trying to get from a stakeholder what they want. And it was basically, and if you've ever, and Dax is going to sigh when I say this. If you've ever had to interact with a person and getting an information out of their idea of what they want it to look like, good luck. And that's interacting with another person. Trying to get that stakeholder to explain that to an AI, good luck with that. But it was something along the lines of, if we still have to get our requirements from a human, our jobs are safe, or something to that degree. But hey, if you're here, can you go ahead and hit the like button for me? So you're not just learning. I have not built anything in Python, but Python has catapulted me to where I am, and while I'm trying to get a data engineering job. I mean, I didn't even know what a data engineer really was. I'm like, what is it? So now, I mean, it's an individual who populates and controls the flow of the data and how it is aggregated, and the consistency and the integrity of the data, and the security of it, and all of these things. But Python set me on this road, and then the tools behind it. I mean, you're still going to need to. I mean, think about. Here's a great example in like data science. Well, data science is someone here didn't like there. Oh, I gotcha. Thank you, Nico. So I thought I was going to move into the data science world, but I really didn't care for machine learning. I tried it several times and it wasn't clicking. And predictive modeling, because there's something that is in my core about trying to predict the future. I don't care about that. I'm more pragmatic. So because when I was getting ready to leave Walmart, Peaky, how are you? Okay. Thank you, Peaky. So I was like, I don't care about the dashboards. It didn't do anything for me. I loved sitting down and trying to solve the puzzle of the getting the data to look the right way to either get it to a stakeholder or to get it to an analyst. And I didn't even understand that was a data engineer. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. I mean, like I'm saying that I learned because I kept saying, well, I'm a data analyst, but I'm not. Well, I had no idea that I was a data engineer. And yeah, am I completely versed on all the tools? So the typical tools now are Snowflake. So if I were to get stuck, everybody's like, oh my God, you need to learn the new tool. Well, all right. So am I going to give it probably the same command line? Yeah. Is it going to trigger a job? Yeah. So it's like all the other ones. But I learned basic. I think you should these kind of streams more often. Do you think you like this? Okay. But look, and I had to give myself a pep talk because I'm freaking out because I don't know DBT, but I remind myself, have I written an unbelievably complex algorithm? Yeah. Am I going to learn a new interface? Probably so. I don't know. So what was the other one? Snowflake, DBT, Airflow. So once I finally got into Airflow, so that platform, it was literally, and then I had to remind myself, I learned Alteryx, and then I learned people on YouTube with title Day 1 of Coding, exactly get more views. Well, I've tried all of those. Peaky, if you can think of something that I haven't tried, I will, well, you win the prize. I can't send anything. I'm not going to get into all that. But I've tried 30 Days of Coding, and here's a perfect example. I want to have substance, and I know the thumbnails are important. And what's crazy is you put in the text, people read more of the thumbnail. So I mean the advertising. So let's talk about that for a second. Do I want to learn how to make a thumbnail, or am I trying to solve problems and partake and share everything that I've learned? But the problem solving, people throw out the word common sense way too much, and it's just logic. It's am I seeing all the information? Am I really understanding? I love that, where it's like, do I understand the problem? Do I really understand the problem? And most people don't. You're doing great, but I guess people want to learn everything so quickly. Well, I'll even go one more peaky. They want to learn. So I'll go back, and I know everybody gets tired of this. People want to know. There was a Cosby Show episode, and this is the first example that I saw it. The dad he talked about when he was a kid and he wanted to go and learn to play the drums. And he wanted to play all the drums, and he wanted to do all the things. And the instructor had him sit down with a drumstick and just tap a piece of wood. Nobody wants to do the ugly stuff. Nobody wants to do the drills. Nobody wants to put in the time. They just want to go, oh, I want to do that. Same thing with getting healthy and losing weight here in the States. Everybody wants it now instead of getting in the process of wanting to want it. Because if you want it, you'll do it. But that's ugly. I mean, to get up and go to the gym in the morning and go and make yourself uncomfortable. But that's also where I've become very good at becoming uncomfortable. Went to the cookout the other day. I now go to jiu-jitsu every night. Not every night, but a couple of nights a week. I lose a lot. So I've said this before, and I don't know, and I guess I'm about to say it, so somebody's in here needs to hear it. Everything for me is hard. I learn very, very slow. So if you really dissect this, it takes me a long time to learn anything. Absolutely anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Simplest task, I would argue the simpler the task, the longer it takes to learn. So all I have to do is put in time. So I make up for it with time. So really, I learn everything over time. So that's pretty easy, right? Because it's just time. I don't have to try hard. I just have to show up. So really, everything to me is easy. I just have to spend time. And that's now how I look at things. In time, it will become easy. So all I have to do is just sit here and keep showing up. Now, that's the easy part. Or this is the easy part, is the time. Showing up. This is the hard part. Nobody wants to do this. This is unbelievable. So let's talk about this for a second. Yep, outwork it. That's my superpower. I have to try twice as hard to be 80% as good as everybody else. So, and Elon Musk said this the other day. He goes, so if you work 100 hours a week, you're going to be farther along. So that's what I did. I just spent more time. So when I was back at the building, I just was there longer than everybody else. So it took me longer to do things. So I just spent more time doing them. And then it balanced out. And then I saw things. But I'm an exceptional learner. Do you make the same? So you have to ask yourself, am I making the same mistake twice? The question I never get asked, and here's the real question. Here's the real question. How do I start? That's not a question mark. So, not to call out Kratos, but it was, what should I do? And that's the wrong question. Because whatever you do is going to change. And the older you get, the more you realize this. YouTube history, just like a 50 or 60-year-old, when people watch this video, they will consider you an amazing programmer in history. What do you think? I highly doubt that. But I'm continuously making videos on this channel. So this channel has been around for 7 years, and we have 13,000 subscribers. And now here's a very interesting point. All right. So people join my channel. Here's so interesting. I don't know if I can find it quickly. But people go, oh, I want to learn Python. I was guilty of this as well. So I'm not pointing fingers. It's a human observation of human behavior. Let me see if I can find it. I only get it on the app. I don't think it's here. But if I can find it, I will show you. So people click subscribe, right? But only 8% are my viewers. Only 8% who watch my videos are subscribers. So people are like, yeah. Okay, so first YouTube removed customization, then removed dislikes. Now they are removing. All right. What you got, Nico? So people, we want to do things. And I'm trying to get my entire family to stop talking about everything and just start doing stuff. Because talking about it is poison. because it's like, oh, let's go. We need to do this. Oh, I hate that we need to do this. That means subscriber count and likes and published dates. No, the YouTube channel has control over, because what they have found is if you have low subscribers, people tend not to watch. So isn't that interesting? So even though an open source platform like that, human nature is still involved, and they're like, oh, you only have. So I get links, or I get thumbnails of people who are just getting started, and the video only has like 5 or 6 views. I watch those just to support that channel, because I was that person. They say like it's making YouTube better and it's making it worse. Well, isn't that your opinion, Nico? So, but the YouTube channel controls to display subscriber count or not. Are my subscribers shown on okay, Nico, let's check. I don't want to get a strike. So on my channel, it does not show 13K underneath. I mean, dislikes. Okay. And they're forcing it like you can't likes to be shown. Okay. Well, I think we're way in the weeds. Okay. So, but back to just getting started. I never get asked that question, and that's the question. Or how do I stay consistent? How to ensure that I continue learning? Never getting asked that. Never been asked this once. That's a good question. Don't know what that is. Is that a platform? Is that a streaming platform? You have to forgive me. My world is pretty small. How do you ensure, like, what do you do when you hit a roadblock? What do you do when you're uncomfortable? What do you do? Never get asked those questions. There was a gentleman, I was at open mat on a Sunday at jiu-jitsu, and there's a young guy. And he goes, yeah, I want to be an MMA fighter. I looked at him, and there was nothing about him that said MMA fighter. He said, so people want being realistic. That's one of the other things. Realistic expectations. So I don't hate reading. I hate reading for an extended period of time. Let me say that. So I knew me. My kids have gotten me these books, and one, it started out as a joke, and then two, it's transformed into this thing. So I read a little bit every day, just a little bit. And I'm now almost done with these 2 books, and it's dawned on me that is. Have you seen that that meme that it's like everybody sees you come up this side of the hill with the boulder, and you're pushing it, and the little man is pushing it. He's got little feet, and he's pushing up the mountain. But everybody sees this, and they're like, "Yay!" But nobody saw all this garbage that you did. Everybody celebrates Tom Brady, but they didn't see any of this work that he had to come and underwater, and he had to, and everybody just is over here. It's just a ton of people. They're like, "Yay, you did good. You're awesome. We love you." And you win the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to watch that, but nobody wants to put in the 20 years back here. Sorry, I forgot so many times. I should call you. You're fine. Sam is fine. Just Peaky, it's fine. You can call me Sam. Absolutely, you can call me Sam. Why am I feeling confused here? Confused about what? Let's talk about it. Because I promise you I promise you I've been more confused. I promise you I've been more frustrated. I was stagnant for 20 years. I'm trying to get my kids. Well, one, I'm trying to get my kids graduated from college. So I am unconventional. I do not fit into any group. If I do fit into any group, it's a really, really small group. But the trick is you've got to learn. Everybody says you got to love yourself. What the hell does that mean? Well, before you can do that, you got to learn about yourself. So I know all of my negatives. And you just got to hug them and love them and protect them and lean into your strengths then. Protect and keep safe your weaknesses. Don't ignore them. Embrace them. I mean, I tell everybody, I said, hey, we're going to be dealing with numbers today. I am extremely dyslexic, and if you want me to notice patterns verbally and out loud, it's not going to be really great the first time, and this is the first time I'm looking at this material, and it's going to be wrong a lot. But if we look at this again tomorrow, I'm going to have a greater in-depth knowledge, and we'll be able to share. So do you want to talk today, or where I could possibly be giving you bad information, or do you want to give me a day, me immerse myself into it, and we have a very cogent and in-depth conversation tomorrow? Somebody will go, wow, hey, let's do it tomorrow. And then they just move on because you were completely honest with them. You showed your weaknesses, you showed your strengths, and you let them pick. Yeah, I want to have a really good meeting. I want to have something that we're all going to benefit from. So yeah, let's do this tomorrow. You go get caught up and understand everything, and we can discuss it tomorrow. And you'll be shocked how that goes, because most people are empathetic. Have empathy, and they do not want, because people want to win. People want things to go well. It's not like, oh, hey, I want to be in an awful situation and I want to lose. I've never met anybody. I was talking to my dad the other day, and we were talking about my middle son. He's a trip. But he loves to learn. He will go, and he's like, I don't know if I need this class. And I'm like, yeah, but isn't it, can't you extrapolate things that you get from this class and use it later? Well, yeah. I said, I've never heard anybody, I want to challenge everybody here. And if you've heard a person say either of these statements, put it in chat. I wish I weren't as smart as I am. Or the other one that we talked about is, man, I wish I didn't have as much money as I do. I've never heard anybody complaining about being smart, and I've never heard anybody complaining about having money. So what we were talking about is it was my son has the opportunity to work a lot of overtime at his restaurant, and he gets it. He goes and does it. So he puts himself, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care if he hurts anybody's feelings. He sticks up for himself. And I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, I've never heard anybody complain about being too smart or having too much money. All right. Oops. Oh boy. Okay, I almost ran something. All right. Let me text. But yeah, I was having this discussion the other day with somebody, and their analysis of the information was boggling my mind. Before I joined the stream, I wasn't coding. I took a break, but before that, I was working. I had many questions in my mind that I wanted to ask, but now I can't remember them because I didn't take notes, and that's fine. So, all right, let's talk about this for a second. Let me send this text, and then we'll talk about that. So that's why I'm saying I'm feeling confused. Got it. Okay. I do that all the time. I feel that all the time. So we're actually going to talk about that for a second. The reason why I got to cut the stream short today, that's surprising because lots of information, essential dread. Okay. All right. Have a great day. Love you. Boom, boom, boom. And boom. And I'm throwing a fire. All right. And send. Okay. So let's talk about that for a second. Now, that's fine that you do that, and you can't beat yourself up for doing that. You've got to move on. I still struggle with that. And so that's our ego. I think I was talking about that the other day. So that's not the brainstem. So I don't know where it resides, but our ego and our subconscious. See, I can't spell subconscious. Subconscious. That looks like a W instead of a U. Our ego and our subconscious. Our ego is this awful thing. I do not like my ego because it gets me into trouble. It says it flies off the handle. It is very immature. So I know I can't remember things. And my ego goes, we'll remember. I promise. No, we have this. I'll remember. And I fall for it. I still fall for it. I don't fall for it a lot, but I do. And I'll be doing something, and when I have that thought, I should stop what I'm doing and write that down. And I have notepads in Google Keeps. But my percentage of accuracy of getting that into Google Keeps is very low. You hate your ego too, Peaky? So, yeah. But you have to learn to... So our conscious and our subconscious, we're actually going to... let me look at something. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, I got squirrels outside my window. I thought it was my dog. See, I didn't even know it had an S in it. So you have to get into a battle with your ego and your subconscious and force your conscious to override these. These are your emotional states, and your conscious is your logical. And you have to get, even though it's part of you, it's not. It's not. It's your emotional, it's your reactive. And I started counting to 5. Well, it started with 3, and then I realized 3 wasn't long enough. And I want to react to somebody. I'm like, do you need to be doing that? And I'm like, or I'll be like, this is all, wait a minute. Let 1,000, 2, 1,000. Oh, that's why they're doing that. So instead of me reacting, putting myself in injecting myself in a situation where I didn't need to be, opening my mouth in a reactive way, not a logical, hey, I've now examined everything, and hey, guys, I think we need to look at it. I think we need to relook at this and talk about this some more. No, it's a reactive, subconscious, ego. I know what needs to be done, blah, 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 and it's usually always wrong. And then the same way when it's like, I can't do this. So it's this two extremes. Our egos, if you're like me and you're here, and if you're here, you're more than likely like me. Our ego does not live in the middle here. It is such a horrible liar. My ego says you're doing a great job, right? Take some breaks, watch YouTube. Yeah, that's so good. I know what you... Yeah, you worked really hard. Oh my gosh, Peaky, I like that. I'm right there with... I am right there with you. I'm right there with you. So, now, so one of the things... See, mine is getting started. Once I get started, I'm okay. Mine is... And you have to... Don't model it after me. Examine yourself and go, what do I need to do? So mine is just getting started, and yours is staying on task, or not giving yourself the wiggle room. So I can speak to mine. So once I get started, now I have to watch. I can become very obsessed, and that's part of the the OCD. So like and I'm just like, I'm gonna get this done, and I can then stay up way too long. So that's why I have to break it up into points, because then what will happen is I borrow from tomorrow. So here's what I'm trying to break my kids of this, especially my older sons. So have a great day. Then here's what I would really do. I would, at my ego, I would be super, super high and super, super happy. Then I'd stay up way too late, and I'd crash, and I'd have a bad day. Then I didn't want to get up, and it would take some days. So I might get up here. Oops, I didn't know that's the delete. So I might get up here the next day, and it's like, you screwed up yesterday really bad, and I'd be back down here. So what I've found, the trick is, so there's happy, there's sad. What I found is living in here is the trick. So if you're here, you're like me. So consistency, not too much, not too little, not too much. So flattening the peaks and valleys. And it dawned on me, Walmart was borrowing that from there. There's actually a lean management tool, and there's a term, and it applies to everything. I mean, when you cook too much food, you insert X into here. You don't get enough. You get too much sleep. You don't get enough sleep. You get too much sleep, so you're screwing with your dopamine. You make too much food. You throw it away. You spend too much money. Just start to insert X, whatever it is. You have too much production. Then you need a bunch more employees. Then the production drops the next day. You have employees standing around. Then you need to send everybody home. Just over and over. And the more that you're inconsistent, let's see. So mainly you end up wasting time. Oh yeah, I used to all the time. And the past few months has not been great, but it's getting better. And just consistency is my friend. Doors don't open till 10. All right. Okay, they're leaving now. So we may be wrapping up here in a few minutes. Because I gotta head out of town. My daughter's bowling this year, so let's see. All right. Oops. Looks like we dropped a bunch of people. So it feels so bad. Yeah. No. Peaky. I know what you're saying. So I've been there. So what you have to do is so people like us. So here's a perfect example. I found that when I'm busy, let's say I have my calendar, right? So the less time I have, the more I get done, because I have to cram in. Some people want to be YouTubers because they think it can be fun, but they really don't realize They don't get the same as watching a video when making the video. Oh, it's work. It is work. Well, everything's work. That's takes effort. Let me rephrase. Everything takes effort. And if you think that you're just going to sit down, and I've watched people and they've had some good videos, and I want you to think about this. So let's just say you can make money, the same money that you'd make in a year doing YouTube, and you're 20 years old, and you do that for 5 years. You're 25 years old. What are you going to do for the next 40 years? That's what you need to think about. Can I do this? So that's why I'm working on getting it. I can do data engineering for the next 20 years. That would be awesome. And AI would help me do that. AI will come in and could find better optimizations, and it would be a training pal, a buddy. The hardest thing about self-learning that feels difficult to me right now is that you don't have something to work on. Yes, 100%. That was why I created the YouTube channel, was because I was floundering. I was listless. I was a boat with no rudder, and I was all over the place, and I was stagnant in my learning, and I was like, I've got to find something. You have got to make something bigger than yourself. So goals, consistency down to sitting down in the same place, conditioning. So the reason why we go to work is that's where we go to work. So we go and do things. So when I'm here, so I was able to transition to working from home because I had already been working from home making videos and things. And I was conditioned in this one spot in the house. That's where I did work. So it wasn't a big deal. Even if you think you can do this tomorrow, it takes a lot of time to convince yourself. Yes, it does. But here's the upside. Here's the backside of the mountain, Peaky, is once you get consistent at doing this, it does become easier. Because there's the part of your brain that actually is growing and getting stronger of doing things that are uncomfortable. So the rest of your brain isn't like, oh, this isn't easy, or this isn't hard, this isn't that bad. You still have that emotion, but this section of your brain that has started to do these things goes, oh, I know what to do. But all right, let's talk about our schedule for a second. So let's say I had lunch, and I was here, and I was here. So can I draw a line and color these in? Let's see. That is awful. Okay. Okay, go back. I want to see. Let's fix this. Black. Let's try this again. There we go. So, oh man. And here. So we do all these. I'm on level 1. Yeah. And that. Perfect. Let's talk about the realistic. That's not realistic. I told you I can't spell. But realistic expectations. You have got to have realistic expectations or none of this will work. So when that guy showed up and he said, I want to be an MMA fighter. Cool. And then he said, yeah, I want to sign up, but I haven't gotten my check yet. And so that person's priorities are so far out of whack and he's being unrealistic, and that's part of youth. But if you're like me, you have the reason why our egos are so messed up is because we had to grow up at some point, but our egos had to defend for us. So there was probably something that happened, and I'll be vague, and if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Something happened and you had to grow up, but to keep your brain from melting, your ego froze in place and it stayed very immature for survival purposes. And we're still really understanding trauma stuff. But realistic expectations. I cannot say that enough. Realistic expectations. If you remember anything from anything I ever say, so I can sit down here and I can talk and I can stream for 2 hours. And I'm going to get smarter because I'm going to be verbalizing the things that I want to talk about. And I want to start teaching data engineering because I want to become better at data engineering. Even so, but I can write SQL. I can write some of the most complex SQL algorithms, and now I know how to build dimensional CSDs. Let's see. So as you said, be consistent. Being consistent is good, but sometimes a thought comes that maybe what you won't do won't lead to anything. So try it. So that's the thing about the feedback loop. You've got to do something. So what dawned on me is I had to kind of restart and start over all sorts of things, even if you followed a straight path. So, but you've got... I love iteration. I do this in programming and I do this in life. I will do something. I will try it. If it worked, can I make it better? If it didn't work, was there anything good in it? Is there anything can I draw something out of it? Is there something and if it's not, that's fine. But then I better not do any of that ever again. If I need to toss the whole thing, toss the whole thing. But you also, if it didn't work, you better not try anything else like that. So let's go back to my day back when I was working. Let's do this. Oops. So let's say, here's my, ooh, that's cool. Interesting. Can it fill in there? Okay, I wanted to see if it would fill in those little white spots. No way, it changed all that. Okay, go back. All right. So what I want to say is, somebody send something in Discord. You sent more stuff. That's very cool. I like that. We're talking. Oh, scheduling. So Peaky. So let me just try to share. So I have to arbitrarily keep my day full because I don't technically have anything right now. So I have to have a very regimented schedule because I noticed one day I just basically just walked around the house. Manoj, how are you? Nice to have you here. Because when I was busy, I would have this one slot during the day. And I miraculously, I wanted to be black. Why did I go there? So I miraculously was able to get everything else done and this task. Now I say all this to tell you this. Let's go back. Let's get rid of all these colors. So then I would be off for a week. I would be off for a week. And no. I'd be off for a week. So I'd have the whole day. So in a week, so I'd have 5 of these, 5 whole days. I did one task because it was, I'll do that later. I will do this. So I had to start filling in with specific times what I was going to do stuff. I needed to do it. And here was another question I would ask myself. And I've only started this in the past like month or so. If I don't do this right now, will I feel guilty later? And that is my draw, because my feeling, we usually do Python. We're kind of talking about all sorts of things today. But if you have a Python question, you can. Have you joined the Discord server? So for Figgy, I love it. Yes. So for I in range 5, print I. There we go. No, we're just kind of talking about things right now. We kind of veered off into a different format for today. Thank you, Dax. So we're kind of talking about consistency in learning and how to stay positive, because I'm trying to divert the conversation from what should I learn to just start learning, and then the really muddiness where it gets really, really muddy. How do I get myself to start? And when things go bad, how do I overcome it? How do I stay consistent? How do I stay motivated? So, rationale, reasons for doing, realistic expectations. I'm trying to figure out ways to talk about things that nobody else is talking about, the right things to accomplish any task, and insert X task. So if you're interested in learning Python, I hope you come back. That's actually one of the things that usually happen. People come, they join, they subscribe, they're super excited, and then they don't follow through. And that's human nature, because programming, string. I like that. Vinky. So we got some OGs hanging out today, being funny. Setting it so Manoj, today we're kind of delving into personality traits of how to be consistent, how to take care of oneself, how to stay motivated when you're completely unmotivated, how to overcome challenges. Because if you're a self-learner and you're doing this on your own, I don't want you to be on your own. That's I guess the overarching concept of you're not. We have the Discord server. You can be like, hey, I'm stuck. I'm drained. I'm emotionally drained. I got nothing. Because you only have so much emotional energy during the day. And if you don't regiment that, you're not going to be able to succeed in anything you want to learn. Sister, you said you follow this rule of iteration, which means first session, do this, and if it works. Yeah, so if it works, do more of that. And also, was there a better way to do that? And then if it doesn't, no worries. No worries. Is it Manoj? So I'm glad you're here. So there's over 1,100 videos. So if you have a question about Python that I do not have a video for, please drop it down on the Discord server. Because if you're trying to learn Python, I promise you this is the best place to learn. In the next stream, wear a green shirt and use the green screen effect on it instead of the background. I gotcha. I'm probably going to wrap up here because I got to do some things around the house and then I got to drive about an hour. Make it into an elephant or something. All right, Nico. But yeah, overcoming an obstacle. But the iteration part, if you did it, so I've also talked about that, separating your bad ideas from you. You are not your bad idea. You are you if you keep doing the bad idea. So if you have a bad idea, that's fine. You had an idea. That's step 0. Was there anything in that bad idea? Was there that was the premise right? Because most of the time the premise is right, and you just need to, move through that. Like, okay, well, I started because I'm doing this boot camp, and it is fast paced, and I am slow. You guys, I think it was Peaky was saying the other day when we did one of those things, is I make it look easy. Yeah. But if I were to have streamed my first, oh my God, do you know the amount of hate that I would have gotten if I would have streamed my first sessions of me learning Python? It was awful. I mean, I would have been stuttering. One, I would have been mistyping everything. So if condition true, run that code again and again and check if not with a problem, then consistent. Yeah, I promise you, if you just keep, my superpower is showing up. I show up every day, and that chews up a lot of that. Showing up every day builds up so much emotional energy and strength that you just stop thinking about it. Because you're just like, all right, I gotta go. And then you stop thinking about I gotta go. It's like, I'm going. Like my parents, I think about my parents every day. It is not even plausible that they don't go to work. And they're 76 and 79. And they're still working every day. And they're showing up every day. And they just show up. That's their superpower. Everybody else went out of business because they just got tired of showing up. I started seeing... Here's one of the other things. The harder you work, the luckier you are. So spend some time dissecting that conversation. Hey, one question. Create something in Python and amaze you. I've built all sorts of cool stuff in Python. Give me an example. But that's kind of the topic of what we're discussing right now. If I build something amazing, I had to solve like 32 problems before that amazement gets built. If you take a step, even a small one. Exactly. Because what happens is so a 1,000,000-mile journey begins with one step. That is it. If you don't think about that, you're going to have these struggles over and over and over again. If you don't dissect that statement, make an animation or something. All right. For what reason? Because actually, I'm glad you're here asking these questions. This is actually what we're talking about. Don't get hung up in the amazement, because you will get lost. If you're stuck in the amazement of the animation or anything, you're going to hit a wall, and you're going to stop, and you're going to give up. And I'm trying to teach everyone techniques of... So I'm trying to teach the basic, the underlying, the root of becoming better at anything. And we just happen to show a lot of SQL and a lot of Python and a lot of problem solving. Sam be like, oh, okay, let's create multiplications tables to amaze you. Like I want to see how Python is efficient. Okay, Python is very efficient. So how long have you been using Python? So are you wanting to be amazed, so you want to continue learning? So this is actually, you're actually coming in at a great time, and I'll give about, you just subscribed. Awesome. Well, thank you for subscribing. So this is actually exactly what you're broaching, is exactly what I'm talking about. Is that, are you asking a good question? And what reason? So if I gave you an answer, would that satisfy you? If I made this animation, this amazing something in Python, and I have a very strong feeling you would not be satisfied, because I don't think you know the question you want to ask. You're trying to figure out something very, very big, and you're asking, You're trying to find, and I watch news reporters do this all the time. And if you watch really close, they say, "What's the one thing?" That is such a lazy question. They don't understand anything that they're hearing about, and they want a one-word answer. And we have boiled down things to one-word answers, and we've stolen from ourselves problem solving. I'm trying to re-energize problem solving and thinking. So there was also a discussion earlier in the stream of, should I learn Python? It'll go away. We're not here to learn Python. We're here to learn problem solving. So if I were to teach you how to make something amazing, I want to teach you how to analyze a problem. Doesn't matter what you go about doing. We solve leak code challenges all the time, and I'm call it Bob Rossing. I'm trying to trick you into learning problem solving and feeling good about yourself to about bases. Well, awesome. So get good at so don't worry about animation. That's an interview problem from Microsoft, if I'm correct. Working on it to check if millions repeated characters, punctuation to make compressed output like string. Oh, okay. He's asking about basics. Okay, so then you're at the right place. So there are, here, I'll give you an example. This is what I want you to build. You want to work on, and I can't, because not everybody wants to believe me when I say this, and I promise you. So one, I want you to, you saw Peaky do a for loop, right? So first thing I want you to do is I want you to print out 1 through 5. Next thing I want you to do, so everybody, like here in the U.S., football is king. Nick Saban is one of the best coaches that's probably ever existed. He barely ever teaches them football. Emotional control, being punctual. Basketball coaches are insane about controlling what you can control. Here, let's talk about this for a second. Basketball coaches are obsessed with the drills, obsessed with eating, obsessed with showing up to practice on time, and sleeping, going to bed, and waking up at the exact same time. So, there was drills. 4 out of the 5 things that basketball coaches are incensed with have nothing to do with basketball, but have everything to do with the success of basketball. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to do. So you went to all the way to winning the national championship or the NBA championship with the animation. I'm trying to get you to go to bed and wake up at the same time. That's the difference, and that's what I want to completely flip your mindset with. That's what I want you to look at. I'm getting all sorts of... All right. Vinky, I have a repo if you need to tell me, I guess. Maybe the problem is... Awesome. No, if I would love for us to that would be cool if we would make we could add stuff. I need to get better at GitHub. We could make a repository on GitHub, and we could start putting the code that we want to examine and talk about. That would be awesome. That would be so cool. But all right, Minoj, I want you to work on these 3 problems. And the reason why I make a big deal about these is if you can do these, you can solve any programming problem. I know it sounds silly. And the more advanced you learn about, more other tools there are. But if you can do these, and I have them in the order of difficulty. I have it in the order of difficulty here. That's pretty easy. This is a little bit more challenging. This is a lot more challenging. But to get this to actually print out, and if you can do this, and you can control the way that your program is doing things, you can program. So then you can learn how to build anything you want to. This is a drill. This is going to bed on time. And this is eating a balanced diet. So this is what I'm trying. I'm trying to get everybody to stop talking about AI. And I want everybody to. So if you want to go that way with solving a problem, you turn around. So in boxing, I've heard Mike Tyson say this. I'm not a boxer, but you turn, and actually you do this in jiu-jitsu. So you turn into the choke. Okay. You turn into the choke. You're being choked. You turn into the choke. It is uncomfortable, but after you pass this max turn, it begins to relieve. So you don't run away from the choke. You get choked more. You turn into the choke, and it gets awful. And I've heard Mike Tyson say this. You turn in to it, and it's counterintuitive. Oh, I was obsessed with counterintuitiveness for about a decade, and I haven't talked about it. But yes, doing the opposite, Dax, that would be make a good video touching on these concepts, maybe even referencing other videos. That's not a bad idea, Dax. Thank you very much. But the only problem is getting people to click on that, because that sounds so boring. But no, I do try to make those every so often. But it's like it's too much. It's Tom Brady's book, everything you need to know to be a champion. Everybody's like, it's so bad, it's so awful, because they don't want to do it. So I've got to be sneakier than that. I've got to get them to click on the video, not name it that, and dribble those topics into the video. Because if I make that video, no one will watch it, and because I've tried. But I'm not saying that's not a great idea. It's a great idea, but I need to be more subversive. I need to bury that. I need to bury this message inside a video that people will watch. So all right, everybody. I don't want to end this chat that you guys are having. So make sure you're jumping over to Discord or private messaging, because I want to continue. Because this is actually what I want to have happen. Did I have this above my face the whole time? All right. I want everybody to be. What time is it there? It's about 12 hours earlier. It's morning. It's morning here. So, all right, everybody, jump over to Discord if you want to continue that having that conversation, and then make sure if you want to do private, make sure you're DMing each other. So all right, I don't want to drop. Make sure everybody get on the link, because I'm gonna end the stream, but I don't want you guys to stop being able to chat. So make sure you're jumping over to Discord. All right, and I'll fill you in on how bowling went today. And yeah, I gotta head out of town. All right, I will see everyone tomorrow. Still not gonna be able to post my video because I didn't get everything set up. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I absolutely love it. I think it was a great conversation today. And focus on the basics. And if you get stuck, remind yourself why you were doing it in the first place. And be consistent. Be consistent in everything you're doing. Be consistent in the time you go to bed. Be consistent in the time you wake up. Be consistent when you eat. Be consistent when you study. Do everything with purpose. If you're going to do it, I will quote I will quote the male lineage in my family. Don't half-ass it. If you're gonna do it, do it. If you're not gonna do it well, don't do it at all. When you're wasting your time, your time is so important. Don't waste your time. If you're not gonna do it well, don't do it at all. And then you're gonna realize, well, I didn't like doing that. Okay, cool. So we just did a feedback loop. If you're not doing it well and you're not trying, I had an old boss. He hated the word try. I love the word try. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to do it. Try and why. If it doesn't work or if I didn't really like that, cool. You just found out you didn't like that. Don't do that again. Don't make yourself do something you don't like. There was a librarian that was with, wait, give me some time. I have created a Discord account. Okay. All right. I'll wait. We'll wait on Pete. We'll wait on Peaky to get. Well, Peaky, you can. The link is still down, so and it's on every channel. It's on every video. So I'll end the stream, but you can just go and open up any video, and it has the invite for the Discord. But Vinky, are you on Discord? And you guys can message each other and then do private if need be. All right. Okay. I got to go now. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Bye.